For the third project, we are going to be exploring GIS data as database data. And we are going to do that by using and creating vector data and then applying some database principles to it. GIS is a database management system and works like one in many different ways, although true database work is an entirely different subject, and one that there's a lot of theory and a lot of practical things that we'll never touch on in this course. But I'd still like you to read through section 5.2 and get an appreciation for the sort of broad theoretical context of that database work. There are a number of different types of database things that we will touch on, though, in this project. The first is something that's called a join. A join is the most important thing that we'll be doing in this course. It allows tabular data to be joined onto spatial data, which is something that you'll be doing in the project. A relate is a more temporary form of join, but does the same basic thing. One of the ways that you'll be using your database material once it's created is by doing various searches and queries, where you will be selecting by attributes using various operators, including the so-called Boolean operators. You'll also do queries by the location of the data that you've collected. And depending on how you end up doing the project, you might look at intersections of data or queries that ask whether or not data is within a particular part of the database or a certain distance or something like that. There are lots of different ways to select both by attribute and also by location. You'll also do at least a little bit of what's called single layer analysis. Single layer analysis is when we take an existing point line or polygon and we do something to that layer of data, like expanding it or dissolving boundaries between it or merging it in some way. In addition, you'll be doing at least a little bit, and you have already done, some multiple layer analysis. The clip is the most basic of these, but there are other forms of multiple layer analysis that you might come into contact with in this course, including unions and intersections. And there's so many other types of analysis beyond this. We're just going to scratch the surface, but you're starting to get the idea, hopefully, of the power of GIS data as a database through the work that we'll be doing.